Shares of Shopify soaring today on a second quarter revenue beat and rosy guidance. After that, Shopify surged to become the most valuable company in the country, surpassing RBC. For more on Shopify's earnings, let's go to Tyler Radke, U.S. Software Equity Research Co-Head at Citi. Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
What led Shopify to what was 31% increase in profit growth?
Yeah, this was a gangbusters quarter. I mean, it was we had to kind of do a double take when we saw the numbers come across. But 31% GMV growth. That was the highest since fourth quarter of 2021, which again was during the stimulus days coming out of COVID. So despite all the tariff uncertainty, despite concerns around de minimis impacts ending and exemptions ending, this was a really monster quarter in terms of growth. I think culmination of the investments Shopify has been making, both attracting new merchants to the platform, giving the merchants the tools to be successful, and then winning share against some of the larger e-commerce platform players such as Salesforce and Adobe. So, really strong quarter, and we also saw a really strong guide. So, in commentary suggested that these trends are persisting into the month of August, which is also encouraging to hear.
All right, let's talk about the kind of growth they're seeing. You mentioned where it's coming from. Is the growth that they're bringing or that they're seeing sort of cyclical revenue or new clients or a combination of both?
Yeah, I mean, I think the growth is pretty balanced, right? You have new clients coming in every quarter. You have growth from existing clients. So, some of the fastest growing brands are on this platform. So same store sales as those brands continue to expand into new markets. They take on new functionality from Shopify, whether that's payments, some cross-border capabilities. So, I think there's sort of a multi-pronged growth strategy for Shopify that allows them to grow and even grow faster in terms of their dollar share at their customers, just as their customers use them more and take on more of the advanced functionality.
You touched on this, but we used to think of Shopify as the tool of a small business enterprise. That's really changed because some of these larger retailers have taken to Shopify for something or another.
Yeah, it is. I mean, they talked about on the call, for instance, a win with Canada Goose, which I think they said was announced on Canada Day, which was kind of ironic, but obviously a larger brand that was using alternatives before. And I mean, if you look at the competitive environment, and we cover enterprise software marketing in commerce software, so Salesforce, their marketing cloud growth has been in the low single digits really for the better part of the last year or two. So you compare that with Shopify growing 30%, clearly gaining share. Adobe, their sort of marketing and commerce business is growing faster than Salesforce, but probably not even 10%. So that's who I think they're winning share from. And then there's even some of these larger brands, especially if they've been around for a while, they may just have a custom in-house solution, built on old code where the people that built this are already retired, and it's just kind of difficult to maintain, especially as folks are thinking about AI and how to modernize their commerce offering with the changes in search and the way that people are going to be shopping going forward.
Yeah, we should mention AI has been really helpful to their bottom line because what they've improved with AI, their clients are really taking advantage of.
Yeah, and I think we're really early still. I mean, I as good as the results have been, I wouldn't say like AI is the driving force, but I do think people are thinking about AI as it relates to who they want to make the bet on in terms of that underlying commerce platform. And so Shopify's vision, it's still sort of coming out, but as you think about how are they going to be able to sort of give merchants, the ability to get their products in searches and, in broad kind of industry-based catalogs and just kind of cover more surface area. They've talked about a few different strategies to do that. And then, I think internally, Shopify is probably leveraging AI to make themselves more efficient. We saw press reports, intra-quarter around, basically any new hiring facing extreme scrutiny at Shopify. Just like, why do you need this head if you have to demonstrate why AI can't do that job for you. So I think it's helping them both on the top and bottom line.
I do want to ask you, you touched on the changes that are there for de minimis. I'm wondering whether or not that will affect the users of the platform, because, of course, it could mean lower sales, slower growth for some of the smaller businesses, especially.
Yeah, no, it's a really important topic and in question. And honestly, it's something we've been concerned on. I think this call was pretty reassuring in a lot of ways. So we learned a couple different things that I think were pretty interesting. So number one, the de minimis exemptions coming out of China, those ended in May, right? So we've already seen, several months of impact, and China is obviously a big, market as it relates to some of these brands. And, obviously Shopify just delivered this really, really strong quarter. The trends are good into August. So no negative impact there. They also said that only about 4% of their GMV actually comes through, under this de minimis exemption. So you're only talking about 4% that is impacted. And then also the other thing to consider is they said we've actually seen some merchants raise prices across the board. Now, if you think about that, obviously inflation's bad, but that does help their GMV. So in some ways, there could be a positive spin on this.
I've got to leave it there, Tyler. I'm out of time. Tyler Radke, though, thank you very much for joining us.